PC's Keith Eddersbury and Julie Dix are out on a Friday night patrol in the centre of Manchester. The maximum length of time an officer can serve with the horses is 12 years. And with 10 years in the saddle already, Julie is one of the most experienced officers in the unit. Julie's horse is Pip. He's 9 years old, and with only 2 years police service, he's still considered very much a youngster. With Pip still learning, in each new situation, Julie not only has to do her job as a police officer, but also be very aware of the behaviour of her young horse.
We don't know sometimes what they see and react to. I remember an old horse I had, Barnaby. There's one particular bar on Canal Street that has the logo of the name of the bar on the floor, and he wouldn't walk past it. And it was, I didn't know what was up with him, like, you know what I mean? It was only my colleague at the time, who was a lot more experienced than me, who said, like, that's what's the problem with him.
Pip's inexperience is about to prove a problem as Keith and Julie question some young men suspected of drug taking.
As we've ridden past the memorial, we've both got a very, very strong smell of cannabis. So we've gone back round, there were 4 lads sat on the base of the statue. So Keith has got off to speak to them and search them all to see if anybody had any cannabis on them.
Just as Keith is about to search one of the suspects, Pip is suddenly startled by a nearby fountain.
Keith?
Right, yeah.
Water.
Come here.
Watch your man. His reaction straight away, because he was facing into the water coming up, was just to run backwards. So basically, I've just turned him round in a circle. I've got him further away from it, but I've made him face it again so he could see it. And he could see Saxby stood still by it, so he should have thought that the other horse wasn't too worried. But it was just, he did overcome it. I mean, every time it's come back on, you can feel his heart going and he's breathing.
Keith eventually manages to conduct a search, but doesn't find anything. He's convinced that they managed to dispose of the drugs during all the commotion with Pip.
Before I came on the mounted unit, for a couple of years I was attached to a divisional drugs unit, and I've done loads of drug searches on people, but obviously when you sat on horseback, you've got other considerations. It's not just a question of, you know, right, I'm going to turn these lads over and we'll see what we can find. It was definitely one of those 4. But the problems that we had with the horses and moving about and trying to keep your eyes on 4 people, he didn't like the fact that Pip had moved out the way.
Kicking off on Oldham Street.
Right?
Kicking off on Oldham Street.
Right, it's kicking off on Oldham Street.
As Keith and Julie head off to break up a street fight, they know better than most that when he's out on patrol with the mounted unit, there's going to be plenty of chances for Pip to redeem himself.